The fight against COVID-19 here in Lubbock is gaining some new resources this week. Coming up, we'll have the latest details on how state leaders are doing what they can to help out the Hub City.
A special group of students who may be new to the college experience have been the focus of a week-long set of activities, but only one of those was in person. MCTV's Anakin Rios has a rundown of the 2020 First Gen Week celebration.
And whitewater and kayaking may not be the first things you think of when looking for recreation options on the South Plains, but it's certainly an option here on Tech Campus. MCTV's Lauren Savage stopped by the TTU Rec Center to find out how students have a chance to step away from their computer screens and get wet and have some fun.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Evan Ray.
And I'm Carson Fowler.
The COVID-19 situation here in Lubbock continues to worsen, with the number of cases increasing each day. And with the strain on local hospitals also getting worse, the state of Texas is stepping in to help out the Hub City. Earlier this week, city officials announced that 2 mobile medical tents will be set up at Covenant Hospital and University Medical Center. Construction on the first tent started across the street from Covenant Children's Hospital on Tuesday and was completed yesterday afternoon. The Covenant tent will act as a COVID-19 infusion center, which will allow for medical personnel to continue to work with COVID-19 patients in a clinical environment after they've been discharged and allowed to return home. The tent is made up of 14 infusion bays, and hospital officials say that the facility will allow for the treatment for as many as 60 patients per day. A second medical tent is also being constructed in the UMC parking lot and is expected to be completed by tomorrow. However, the UMC tent may not go into operation until closer to Thanksgiving unless it is needed before the holiday. The decision to put up the tents comes as the Lubbock area continues to see a surge in COVID-19 infections. Yesterday afternoon, city health officials reported 446 new cases of the coronavirus, bringing the number of active cases to 4,498. There were also 4 additional deaths reported on Wednesday. Currently, there are 276 people hospitalized in Lubbock who have tested positive for COVID-19. Even though the majority of active cases in the city are not hospitalized, many are still receiving outpatient treatment for the disease, which is why the infusion tents are becoming a necessity. Of the 276 patients in Lubbock County hospitals, 75 are currently in ICU. With yesterday's numbers, Lubbock's hospitalization rate is now at 24.55%, which is nearly 10% higher than the 15% rate needed to remove opening restrictions imposed by the governor's office. Lubbock has maintained a hospitalization rate above 15% for 25 days.
The construction of medical tents here in Lubbock is only the first part of the state's efforts to help the city in its battle against COVID-19. Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott announced that Lubbock will be one of the first cities in Texas to receive a new antibody therapy for COVID-19 patients. The drug is similar to a treatment that was given to President Trump after his diagnosis back in October. Governor Abbott said the new medicine should be delivered to Lubbock hospitals by next week. Along with the antibody therapy, the state is also sending in additional medical personnel to both Lubbock and El Paso, after both cities continue to report a staffing shortage due to COVID-19 infections and quarantine protocols. Here in Lubbock, the UMC health system alone has 227 members of its medical staff out on quarantine. The additional personnel from the state would add to other medical workers who were sent to Lubbock when COVID-19 infections began to spike in October. The exact number of additional personnel was not announced yesterday, but the governor's office says that 716 medical personnel are currently in the Lubbock and Amarillo regions to help with the coronavirus outbreak.
COVID-19 restrictions have put a damper on most in-person events here on campus. Just this week, one university group had to make several changes to their plans for an annual week-long celebration. But as MCTV's Anakin Rios shows up, students still had one chance for some in-person interaction before joining a schedule of virtual opportunities.
Thanks, guys. Well, with the semester coming to a close and Thanksgiving break just around the corner, fewer and fewer events have been happening around campus. But thankfully, however, one group on campus is still hosting a plethora of activities throughout the second week of November called First Gen Week, and it's kicking off here right at the North Sub Plaza. The First Gen kickoffs consisted of organization leaders of first-generation transition and mentoring programs and volunteers setting up tables with t-shirts and bags of goodies to give to those who walked by the event.
So this is actually our kickoff event for First Generation Week, which is a week-long series of events that are designed to celebrate and empower the first generation community at Tech. And it's actually in conjunction with National First Generation College Celebration Day, which was yesterday, Sunday, November 8th.
While this event happened in person, all other events happening for First Gen Week are taking place online as to stay safe for the well-being of others.
To be honest with you, we just crave that human interaction right now, and so unfortunately about 99% of our events are virtual, which is great. We're being creative with how we're leveraging our technology, but we did want to make time to bring space for us to come together and to support our students in a physical way, although in a safe way.
Some of the events that take place throughout the week are a virtual mix where people can interact online with each other, as well as meditation and yoga and even a cooking demo, all taking place via Zoom. But Monday's kickoff event was also a way for first-gen students to get advice from other students who went through what they may be going through right now.
I think for me, my advice starts off with just there are over 8,500 first generation and college students on campus at Texas Tech University. So there is a community out there. And so the advice piece is find your community. Whether it's the programs Trudy just mentioned, student organizations, a mentor in your academic pathway, find your community as a first generation student. Expanding your network of support is so important, and there are people on campus that want to be there for you, that see you and want to make sure you're successful.
If you want to stay updated in the events of First Gen Week, you could visit their website at fgtmp@ttu.edu and also check out their Instagram at TTU_FGTMP. For MCTV, I'm Anakin Rios. Back to you guys.
There is still one day remaining to enjoy this year's First Gen Week celebration tomorrow. All First Gen students are invited to wear the shirt they received at Monday's event and pose for a virtual group photo. Students who want to be in a picture can log on to Zoom at noon, and the photo should be done by 12:15. Then, later that afternoon, the last event of the week will also take place on Zoom starting at 3 p.m. First Gen Careers with the Career Center is an opportunity for students to interact with career counselors and find out what jobs await them after graduation. Both events are free and open to all first-generation students. For more info on how to join in on tomorrow's events, visit diversity.ttu.edu/FGTMP.
For the first time since fall began, the South Plains area has finally seen some consistency in the weather. Other than the wind, conditions have stayed mild, with highs hovering between the upper 60s and low 80s and plenty of sunshine. So will we be seeing any big changes as we head into the middle of November? MCTV's Madison Hartin joins us in the studio with the latest look at the forecast. Madison?
Thanks, Carson. Well, Texas Tech, we are going to be seeing a big change coming up here in the next few days, albeit a short-lived one. Don't worry, we should be back up into our low temperatures in about the 30s and 40s and our high temperatures in the 70s and 80s in no time, but we are going to be seeing a mix-up for the next couple days. For today, however, we can see we have some overcast skies behind me, and our high temperature climbed all the way up to 74 degrees, partly cloudy and mild conditions, and a southwesterly wind coming at 10 to 15 miles per hour. The wind is going to continue into this evening, being very breezy, except now it's going to be coming from the northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour, with the temperatures dropping back down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, so a little bit chilly out there tonight. Looking at the South Plains as a whole for this evening, we're going to be seeing a drop in temperatures, with our coldest temperatures, of course, usually being out there to the northeast of us, out there by Dimmitt and Muleshoe, with it getting down to 33 degrees, so not quite freezing, but very close to freezing. But the thing that these cool temperatures are going to bring in for tomorrow is going to be a slight chance of rain, albeit a slight one here for the South Plains. Looking at our rain forecast for tomorrow, we can see that out there a little bit west of us, we are going to be seeing a 20% chance of rain. I doubt that we're going to be seeing any substantial precipitation here in Lubbock locally, but there is always a chance of it, and our greatest rain chances for the South Plains are out there by Childress with a 30% chance of rain, which we could all use the rain right now. Lubbock is in a bit of a drought at the moment. But don't worry, these rains should be moving out of the area as the wind is going to start to pick up on Saturday, and our cold temperatures for Saturday should be back into about the 40s and 50s, with the sun coming out for Saturday and finally seeing some warmer temperatures here on the South Plains, yet again with highs back into the 70s. Looking at the South Plains as a whole, and really Texas as a whole, we can see that we are experiencing a bit of a drought at the moment. We can see that back in October, Lubbock, of course, was in the extreme drought out there in that light red, but the light red has only spread, and so is that dark red. As we moved into November, even more of Texas is now experiencing drought-like conditions, and this is due to a lack of precipitation that we've had over the last few months. The most substantial precipitation we've gotten here on the South Plains was last month during that October snowstorm, which was a bit out of season, but we all welcome the precipitation wherever we can get it. But that was the last substantial precipitation we got for the South Plains. So hopefully, even if it is just a little bit over the next couple days, we will be seeing at least a slight chance of rain. Bringing it back into Lubbock locally, we are going to be seeing for Friday a bit lower temperatures with a high of 48 degrees, a low of 47, cloudy conditions, so very similar skies to today, with a southeasterly wind coming at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for Saturday, the sun will be back out and the high temperatures will be back with a high of 78, a low of 38, but the wind is going to start to pick up on Saturday with the southwesterly wind coming at 20 to 30 miles per hour with higher wind gusts, high as possible as 40 miles per hour. So if you're planning on going out on Saturday, getting some fresh air, definitely make sure you hang on to your hats and your umbrellas because you just might lose them. And then for Sunday, we're going to be seeing a high of 61, a low of 37, and an east by northeasterly wind coming at 10 to 15 miles per hour with some sunny skies for a sunny Sunday. Now, I'm passionate about road safety, so I always have to say this. When there is a chance of rain in Lubbock, there is a chance of flooding in Lubbock because, frankly, our roads don't drain water very well. So if we do end up getting some rain on Saturday, even if it's just a little bit, the roads in Lubbock can flood very easily. So be careful if we do experience some precipitation and you are going to be getting on the road. For MCTV Weather, I'm Madison Hartin. Back to you, Carson.
Thanks, Madison. Texas Tech Athletics added quite a few new names to the roster yesterday during National Signing Day. Both the men's and women's basketball teams, Tech soccer, volleyball, and track and field all announced additions to their teams on Wednesday. First-year Lady Raider coach Krista Gerlich announced 3 signings to her initial signing class. Shantae Embry, a forward from Norman, Oklahoma, tops the group with a 4-star ranking from ESPN. On the men's side, Coach Chris Beard added only one name to his roster, Jalen Tyson, a 4-star recruit from Plano, Texas. Tech soccer coach Tom Stone announced one of the larger recruiting classes for the program, with 11 women signing with the team on Wednesday. 8 of the signees are from Texas, and the rest are coming from Arizona, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Tech Volleyball also announced a pair of additions to the team yesterday, Maddie Gillian from Coppell, Texas, and Maddie Correa from San Antonio. Both players have earned multiple high school honors, and Correa is ranked as one of the top 10 players in the state. And the Texas Tech track and field team added 4 women and 3 men to the team with the 2021 signing class. The reigning national champions attracted attention from around the world, with signees coming from as close as South Plains College in Levelland to a recruit from Peru. The 7 recruits will add to head coach Wes Kitley's already stellar team, which brought 37 new athletes to campus this fall.
3 of Tech's team sports are getting close to the end of their seasons as they head into another weekend of conference play. First up, the Texas Tech volleyball team kicks off their last home series tonight as they welcome the Oklahoma Sooners to town. The Red Raiders are hoping to close out the home schedule on a high note with wins against the Sooners. And tonight's match is also this year's military appreciation game, with free entry for active military and veterans. First serve for Game 1 is tonight at 6 p.m., and the home finale starts tomorrow at 4. Both games will also be available on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Also tomorrow night, the women's soccer team will be closing out their 2020 season on the road against Kansas State. The matchup was originally scheduled as the Red Raiders season opener, but the game was pushed back due to COVID-19 issues. Tech is sitting at 2-4-2 on the season and is hoping for a win to close out the year on a high note. Friday's game is scheduled for 5 p.m. and you can catch it on ESPN+. And to finish out this weekend schedule, the Texas Tech football team returns to Jones AT&T Stadium in a battle for 8th place in the Big 12. The 1-4 Baylor Bears come to town on Saturday, setting up the Red Raiders with one of only 2 other teams in the Big 12 with 1 win or less in the conference. Tech hopes to improve their Big 12 record and find momentum as they head into the last 3 games of the 2020 season. Kickoff for Tech versus Baylor is set for 3 p.m. with television coverage on Fox Sports 1.
Throughout the fall semester, students who return to campus have been looking for options to fill their time between lectures, exams, and homework. Even though in-person activities have been few and far between, there's been one place on campus that has been hosting a full schedule of activities since August. MCTV's Lauren Savage took a short trip over to the Texas Tech Rec Center to find out about one unique opportunity that is giving students a rare experience to have some fun.
With campus being so crazy right now, many students are finding it hard to find things to keep them busy. One thing that the Rec Center is offering as a unique way of entertainment is indoor kayaking, every Thursday night at the indoor pool at the Rec Center.
Starting at 7 p.m., students gathered through the weekly class held at the Aquatic Center. Students are provided equipment and an instructor shows them the basics on kayaking. Kyle Mooney, a senior advertising major, acts as an instructor for the courses and welcomes anyone to join.
It's any experience. You don't have to be super good at kayaking. You could have never done this before and you can still come. The only requirement is that you know how to swim. This is just a little fun activity that people can do on Thursdays if they have the free time, and we can show them kind of the basics of how to use a whitewater kayak.
Mooney teaches the course each week, but he is not new to kayaking. He says he has had many experiences off campus that prepared him to teach this class.
Done this for about 3 years now. I have done some kayaking in about San Marcos, Texas, and I've also done some kayaking in Pilar, New Mexico, and hopefully soon I'm going to be getting up to Colorado to do some bigger whitewater kayaking.
Due to COVID-19, there are less spots available in classes at the rec center this semester. Students who regularly come to the rec center have been experiencing difficulty getting into classes, but say the kayaking experience was worth the wait.
I looked on the weekly events way back 2 months ago, and I saw that there's kayaking, and I just kept trying to sign up, and I didn't get to sign up until tonight.
Honestly, I just really like trying new things. I've never kayaked before, and so I'm always trying to go to new events.
The indoor kayaking course will continue to be authored through the end of the fall semester. Students are welcome to join the class by visiting recsports.ttu.edu and signing up. For MCTV, I'm Lauren Savage.
So, Carson, have you checked out any of the classes at the rec center this fall?
You know, Evan, I really should, but unfortunately, exercise is scary and hard.
That's all for today's edition of MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.